Hey everybody, it's Flyin Ryan here with the review of the Silverlit HydroCopter. This is a 3-channel coaxial helicopter with pontoons and wheels. So it actually rolls on the ground, floats on the water, and can drive around on the water or flies in the air. This is 2.4 gigahertz control, so it can be flown outdoors. However, being that it is, a coaxial helicopter, it doesn't have a lot of forward authority, so you're definitely going to want to have low wind conditions. And I don't know, with the water floating, I definitely wouldn't recommend like out on a lake or anything like that. I just don't think it would really have the power to fight any kind of waves or anything. And then you may also end up where it has some like surface tension and end up flipping into the water or something. So I think this would really be best used in a pool, especially if you were lucky enough to have like an indoor pool or maybe like a hotel or something. But where you had like really calm, glass topped water with no waves, no wind. I think that's where it's really going to excel. I'm not sure I would trust flying it on lake water. So in that case, and that's all I have access to. I don't have access to a pool, so I'm not going to take this out to the lake. I just don't think it would do well, and I would end up crashing into the water or something. So I'm not really sure I'm going to be able to show off the water aspect of this. I mean, maybe I'll put a tub out in the kitchen just to land on it, but I can't really drive around on the water and show that off at all. But I will drive around on the ground, so you'll see how that works, and you can imagine it's going to do pretty much the same on the water. And it does drive around quite well. You can turn and everything with it. So pretty cool. And it flies great. It's really nice and stable and smooth and turns well. It doesn't get all wobbly or anything. It flies really nice. And like I said, it is 3 channels, so you can fly forward and backward or turn left and right. This is our transmitter here, which kind of like their others, but a little bit bigger, like the from the Nano Falcon, but scaled up. So we've got our throttle on the left, and that is spring-loaded. And then we've got our forward, backward, left and right controls on the right stick there, and we've got our left and right trim. So if it constantly rotates in one direction, you're just going to use trim in the opposite direction until it stays nice and straight. This here are takeoff buttons, so it's going to start out in ground mode where your throttle only gives enough for it to move forward and it won't actually lift off, and then you hit this takeoff button and then it's going to spin up and actually take off and start flying. And then we've got our little charging cable on the side there, so you just pull that out and then it plugs in here, and then it has a little water seal over the charge port so no water gets in there. And then we've also got a rubber cover over the on-off switch, so nice and watertight. I'm pretty sure this thing is pretty well waterproofed in case it splashes or something, but if you end up upside down in water, you're going to have to be able to get to it. There's no self-righting or any way it's going to end up flipping back over once that happens. But yeah, anyway, so you just plug your charging cable into there to charge it, and then it does charge off of the transmitter batteries, which it uses 4 AA batteries in the transmitter here. Let's see, it has a 200 milliamp hour internal LiPo, and that takes about 28 minutes to charge, and you get about 6-minute flight times. There's no sort of LVC warning, there's no lights on it or anything to indicate when it's about to die. So again, if you're out in the water or something and the battery dies, you're going to need to be able to rescue it, or just make sure that you get back to the shore before that 6 minutes is up. Let's see. Oh, it does have 2 spare tail props, which are taped inside the box. I haven't taken those out. And then it also comes with like a little wedge, like crowbar thing for taking the tail prop off if you need help with that. Oh, and when you transition to air, you do need to be actively giving it throttle and then press takeoff. If you're just sitting on the ground and you hit takeoff and then try giving throttle, it's still going to stay in ground mode. You've got to be giving throttle and then hit takeoff, and then it'll start flying on you. I think that's all the details. Let me give one more look. Yep, that's all there is to say about it. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna fly this around the kitchen because again, like I said, it can fly outdoors because it's 2.4 gigahertz, but these three channel coaxial helicopters are not good in the wind. So I'm just gonna give it a spin around the kitchen and drive it around the tile floor, and maybe I'll throw out a tub of water just to land on and show you that it does float and whatnot. So let's go check that out. Alright, this is the flight review of the Silverlit HydroCopter. We got a little helicopter that runs on the ground and floats on the water. So I'll try to get through all of it. We'll start out by running on the ground, and I have a little tub of water there. I don't quite trust taking this one out to the lake or anything, so I'm just going to use that little tub to kind of land in it. Maybe I can kind of move around in it a little bit. But to start, we'll just drive around on the ground, which is what it does by default. It's just ready to go on the ground, so it doesn't quite give enough throttle to take off. You can adjust the speed by giving it less throttle, slow it down a little bit. But it gets around quite well on the ground, actually. Oh, you can't go backwards, it looks like. Yeah, the tail prop isn't doing anything for me. Looks like I can go forward with the tail prop and get a little bit more speed, actually. So yeah, quite maneuverable on the ground. But now, so when I want to take off, I can't just press the takeoff button like right there. It still doesn't take off. It's got to be running a little bit. So you got to have the throttle, or the prop spinning, then you hit takeoff, and then it'll actually lift off. And it actually flies really nice too. It's really nice and stable and smooth. Doesn't feel too heavy, even with the pontoons on there. That gets around quite well. Don't want to crash and end up falling in the water upside down. Stay away from that corner. And I can just land, and then when I let off the throttle, it just goes back to drive mode. So now it's only enough throttle to drive around. Alright, well I think I showed all the flying and driving, so let's go ahead and try landing in the water. A little bit nervous about this. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and let's land it. Let's bring the water out more in the center of the room here, so I've got room to get in and out of it. Try to move it without spilling it. Alright. Now let's try that. So let's go ahead and take off. Oh, oh gosh. Oh jeez. Alright, let's try that again. There we go. Alright, so it floats. That's a good sign. It looks like it's moving around pretty well. I can turn nice and easy. Yeah, it's still just like on the ground. There's no reverse, so that can be a little tricky. You end up, moving into a corner or something. There's no way to get yourself out, but It looks like it's quite maneuverable on the water, just like on the ground. Alright, well let's see if I take off. Yeah, it broke the surface tension, no problem. Got out of there nice and easy. Flying a little bit awkward right now. There we go. Not bad. Not even dripping a bunch of water like it had a water up in the pontoons or anything. Looked like it stayed pretty nice and dry. Whoa! Gets a little crazy there when you get close to landing and you get the prop wash ground effect. Oh dear. Yeah, it's kind of best to just kind of plop in there and get through the ground effect. Yeah, that's actually not bad on the water at all. And another takeoff. Whoa! Whoa! I tried flooring it right there to get out of the water, and that got a little crazy. I think the surface tension kind of made it get on an angle a little bit, and then the coaxial rotors got all out of whack. Thing's pretty cool. I think if you had an indoor pool, or like at a hotel, or if you're rich and lucky and you've got an indoor pool at your house, this thing would be super cool on the pool. Alright, let's go in for a dry landing on my helipad here. Look how smooth and stable that thing is. Whoa, I had to speak too soon. I tried to back it up onto the landing pad and that didn't work. Let's try that again. Not bad. Alright, well there we go. That's the Silverlit HydroCopter with the running on ground and water and flying in the air, and decent little water sample. Not quite as good as if I could have taken it to a pool or something, but I just don't have access to anything like that, so I did as best as I could with what I've got available to me, and I think that showed off pretty well that it actually works quite well on the water. So yeah, check the video description for price and purchase link. I thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.